Welcome to the Sentimental Twist,
where two generations share one love for meaningful spaces and gracious hospitality.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Melissa.
Let's gather around the table and talk home, hosting, and all things sentimental. Welcome back. Already in episode 5.
I know. I feel like I can't do the intro without clapping.
I know, and I can't say, well, I have to say, like,
well,
yay,
I know. You're so excited. You're so cute. I love watching us on YouTube because you're always smiling and leaning in, and I'm like this.
No.
It's because I'm listening to what you're saying, but I just look so, my lips as I've gotten older are thinner. So I just
They're
look
not that thin. You're making them look thinner there.
School marmy. Like I'm just so disapproving of what you're saying, but I'm not. I'm just really listening. Yeah. So hopefully people get that. Okay. So I'm Melissa. Welcome to the Sentimental Twist episode 5. We're so happy to have you here. You can find me on Home with a Twist at Instagram, homewithatwist.com on my blog, and Home with a Twist on YouTube.
And I'm Brittany Shepherd at Brittany Shepherd on Instagram, thesentimentaldecorator.com, and Brittany Shepherd TSD on YouTube.
And you can find us at the Sentimental Twist podcast on Instagram.
Yes. So. We love the Instagrams. That's how we connected. And so we want to connect with you there as well. Yes. So make sure you follow us both and the podcast.
Yeah. So if anyone's listening and if you're just tuning in for the first time, Brittany and I have never met. I reached out to her and I said, you know what? I really like you and I like your content. And I feel like our content pillars are very similar, but not enough that we're dipping into each other's stuff completely. You know, we both, yours is more sentimental decorating and mine is more of the heirloom recipes kind, but we do share love of everything else. Yes, so it's a great little, it's a great little blend of this church and the steeple. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we're looking forward to meeting each other at the Beautiful Table Bash.
Yes.
That was called
Beautiful Table Settings Bash.
Yes.
In 2026, January, Vicksburg.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to just do a real quick PSA about that so people will sign up?
Yeah, I think you can still get tickets if you go to the website. I have posted it on my website where you can find the link, and it's in the show notes of a previous episode, I think episode 2 of season 2, that link, but I can't think of the link right offhand, but I think it's like BTS Vicksburg something or another.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to register or learn more about what Brittany's talking about, go to the sentimentaldecorator.com because I've tried Googling it and I get varying. In fact, there's other bashes in other cities.
Yes.
And I've also gotten to a site where the link is not working.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
I would like to help with their marketing.
Yeah, the Vicksburg link does not work. You click on it, it tells you about it, but when it says go to get tickets, it takes you to a website that doesn't work.
You go to my website and just search Bash.
Yeah,
you'll be good to go.
Or onto your Instagram because you're pretty good about promoting it on there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so today we're going to talk about is gracious hospitality, family feast versus Friendsgiving. Mm-hmm. And I don't know when Friendsgiving started. It's been in the last maybe 10 years or something.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a spinoff of all of those episodes on Friends that were Thanksgiving themed. And then people were like, oh, I can have Thanksgiving with my friends and call it Friendsgiving.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. It's a pre-event, if you will, to the actual big day of Thanksgiving. But it's an opportunity for friends, loved ones, whoever you want to have at your table can be together in community. And it doesn't have to be the Thanksgiving meal. And we're going to talk about ways that you can celebrate Friendsgiving because I'm actually going to have my very first Friendsgiving this year.
Okay.
It's going to be a very small group. And so I've been kind of exploring some ideas. So we thought we'd talk about that today. So I'm hosting mine on November 15th, which is 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And mainly we thought of this idea because Mr. Twist has decided that he does not want to fry a turkey. He wants to air fry a turkey. So he bought one. And like anything else that he buys, he is completely committed to it. Mm-hmm. Does the research. He reads the owner's manual, which I don't do because it's too overwhelming. And he has made 2 chickens, whole chickens since then. And I tell you what, they're the moistest chickens I've ever had. doesn't make any mess. It gets a beautiful crispy brown skin on the outside.
Mhm.
I've told him now I want him to do chicken wings.
Oh, yeah. Chicken wings in an air fryer?
That's the skin
Mhm.
and the seasoning. He uses that Greek seasoning, Tony.
Lavender. Oh, Tony Chachere's that's Cajun.
Was it Cajun?
Mhm.
Okay, that's right. Because
There's
it's
Cavender's that's Greek, that's really good as
I don't
well.
think it's Cavender, it's
Okay.
Tony, whatever his name
Mhm.
is. Yeah, and
You might have a Greek version,
it's kinda
but I use the
spicy.
Cajun one.
Yeah, it's so good. So, I like the idea that you can do a Friendsgiving and maybe get away from the traditional meal. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've done quite a few Friendsgivings in different degrees, varying degrees. 19, I hosted one out in my old house, outside. We brought tables out, all the chairs from my house, and we set up pretty lights. That's when I told you about Anna that did the table runners out of all the forage things from the side of the road that I ended up using as a mantle Christmas thing. I think it was last 2 episodes ago or so,
Really?
but we had 4 tables that we did in a square, and we set them and candlelight and twinkle lights, and it was beautiful. We catered that one with traditional Thanksgiving food just because it was with a Bible study group, and it was easy for us to do that instead of having everybody come around. But then I'll do little small versions of Friendsgiving that aren't necessarily Thanksgiving food that we make ourselves with my Sunday supper group that I've talked about also before. And then, of course, sometimes on Thanksgiving, we have sort of a Friendsgiving because either my family's out of town or I'm celebrating with my dad on a different day and his wife. And so, Friendsgiving kind of takes on different tones or vibes depending
Or
on
depending
the
on the year. Well, we found a bunch of ideas. We did a little research on how to engage guests, especially if they don't know each other, because sometimes you are inviting people who are not, they may be acquaintances, but they don't really know each other. So I have done this before, but never a gratitude board. It's placing a board, branch, or tree structure with little tags or leaves, and guests write what they're thankful for and hang it. Now I have done a tree before, and
Mm,
on my website, in my digital store, I have little cards that say at the top what I'm thankful for, and they have really pretty little gingham edges in different colors, fall colors. And I have had people write that, and then I'll tie it with a little ribbon onto like a magnolia tree branch or just,
mm.
some branches I find in the yard.
Foraged branches from a
And then
yard. Yeah.
you can keep those cards and, put them in a binder or it's a memento. Another idea is a pie contest, which we know that pie is really the star of the meal for Thanksgiving, is that guests can bring their favorite pie. You could do it blindly,
Mm-hmm.
where maybe they deliver the pie and then you secretly take it off and put it into a box that's not labeled as to who brought it. Like maybe it's exhibit A or pie number 1, and then everybody gets a sample, and then at the end, we do a taste and presentation, and the winner maybe gets the prize. The hostess could give them a box of recipe cards or a little bag of recipe cards or maybe a gift card to their favorite bakery or something. I love to do story prompts and table questions, and you can buy a lot of these on, online, little boxes that are already
Mm-hmm.
pre-made, but you could place prompts or cards at each place setting, like one thing you learned this year, your favorite funny holiday memory, and then of course the thankful cards that I just mentioned. And then this is one of my favorite ones, a dips giving,
Dips giving. Hmm.
where everybody brings a dip and a dipping vehicle. And that could be a chip, a cracker, a crudité.
Broccoli stalk.
Right, exactly. And then you host a little mini contest, best flavor, best presentation, most creativity, and you give them a little prize.
Mm-hmm.
So I
That's a
think
fun
these
one.
are fun. The whole point is to try to get everybody can bond over food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
everybody can bond over memories. So anyway, what about you?
Yeah, and from that same idea realm, like doing a flight of whether it be wines or hard ciders, or you could do other beverages that are non-alcoholic, and then people could make it spike theirs if they want to, because not everyone drinks alcohol, and I rarely do since I have a new kidney. But, that's a great way to like get variety into the meal, try different things, especially appetizer time, like set up a flight of wines or hard ciders or different kinds of hot chocolate if it's cold enough. You could do
Oh,
what you could just
yeah.
take that and run with it. And then a craft station. And I know some people are like, I'm not crafty, but it could be simple stuff. I mean, it could even tie into the things that you were talking about earlier, like with the table prompts or the story prompts and table cards and things like that. So they could paint leaves or write on the leaves the things they're thankful for and add to that tree. I had the kids over and we painted bigger pumpkins, but you could do mini pumpkins, and that can be everybody's little take-home thing. They can decorate their own place cards. I love also, I've seen families have a tablecloth that they write something on every year, and then it goes from year to year. You could do that with your friend group as well.
That's neat. Is it like a
Mhm.
cloth and then you use markers that are for fabric?
Mhm. And they'll write what they're thankful for that year and their name. And then that tablecloth comes out the next year and they do it again. And then it's just like this living thing. And so you could do that with family or with friends.
Love that.
Yeah.
Especially we talked about in our previous episode about how important handwriting is
Handwriting. Mhm.
and what a trigger it is for sentimentality
Mhm.
is to see that person's handwriting.
Yeah. Another fun idea is a playlist, but make it collaborative. And I sound like education, collaborative work, which we do in Ed Speak all the time. But ahead of time, get friends that are coming to send you 2 songs that they want to include in the day's playlist, and you create a playlist for the Friendsgiving event that everybody contributed to. That's super fun. A thankful jar. People can pass it around, put slips of paper in with what they're thankful for, and then at dessert, people can take them out and read them. You can read your own or just pull one out of the jar and read it, and it could be anonymous even. So just fun little ideas.
Yeah, I think it's good because, a lot of times, and I mentioned this earlier, is a lot of times people, especially if they're a little shy and, this might lend itself to a larger group that, things that they can be doing takes the pressure off of having to make small talk. So if you have activities for people to do, or you give them an activity to bring, they may be very creative independently, but just maybe a little bit more shy publicly, more of an introvert. That gives them an opportunity to shine, and everybody can engage and talk about food or
Mhm.
talk about what so anyway, I love all those ideas. So let us know if you've done a Friendsgiving and you have a
Mhm.
great idea. I would love your ideas. Send it to the Sentimental Twist podcast at gmail.com
Mhm.
and we will share those.
Yeah.
We love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, that would be great if y'all send in some ideas. Maybe we'll turn them back out and share them on social media in time for planning for something like this. So,
Absolutely. Love
'cause I
that.
think, yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to Brittany's favorite segment, which is Porch Talk Speed Round,
Mhm.
where we fire off quick questions and share even quicker answers and let you get a peek behind the screen door of who we really are. So
Yes.
I always ask Brittany the questions first, and then she asks me. All right, you ready, ma'am?
Okay.
Turkey, roast, fried, or skip it?
Kind of skip it,
Oh my
but
gosh,
let me
Brittany,
explain. Let me explain. We
my
use
mind
the
is blown because you're such a traditionalist.
I know, but this is because it's not traditional to my family. So we have a hen.
It's boiled
Granny call
peanuts. Is it
we call
boiled
it the
peanuts?
hen. Huh?
Is it boiled
No,
peanuts?
it's not boiled.
Okay.
But we get a turkey, but it's usually not a very big one. Granny always calls it the hen, and sometimes it might be chicken. But that's to make the dressing with, and of course she'll serve it up, but it's not the main event. It's not the highlight. The highlight of our Thanksgiving meals are the sides and the dressing.
Okay. All right. So that was a little twist of your
Yeah.
answer.
But I
Okay.
will say we have it, but it's not the go-to protein either, because if the men in the family have had time to go dove or quail hunting in season, we would fry those up. So even depending on when the open season is for dove and quail, if it fits for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. My granddaddy was a huge bird hunter, as we call it. Like he went to Argentina and stuff to go bird
Wow.
hunt.
Okay.
But we'd fry those up, and then this is kind of crazy and odd, We always had barbecue and Brunswick stew because we have a family friend who makes the best homemade barbecue sauce and Brunswick stew, and my granddaddy would always get it from him. And we'd also have that with our Thanksgiving stuff. And even on Christmas Day, sometimes we do that. But lately, my sister-in-law, for Christmas Day, we switched it up and we do prime rib for Christmas Day.
Ooh, yeah.
But really, the star has always been the dressing and the sides. So
Okay, so it sounds like your grandma, this was Grandma Ella,
uh-huh.
she had a lot of food,
I mean,
Yeah.
there was usually 30 people there for Thanksgiving.
but she would have people help her, right?
Yeah,
She
we
would,
would all family would be responsible for certain things,
but
So,
then there were Ella things. What were Ella
Ella
things? Ella
dressing
was
was
the dressing. Okay.
dressing for sure.
How do you fry a quail? That is tiny.
And just on the stovetop in oil like you would fry chicken.
Okay. Do you tear apart a quail? Okay. So
Well,
would your granddaddy take it and skin it and do all defeather it
you would have
and
it
do it prep?
processed. So
Okay.
there's no head to deal with and things like that.
Okay. So it would
Just
just
the
look
body,
like
the wings.
okay.
But you have to, after it's fried up, because they're so small, you have to look out for the buckshot and not eat the buckshot.
Wow. All right. This is serious. Okay. All right. Mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes?
Sweet potato casserole, sweet potato souffle, always and forever.
Yeah.
Both the pecan and butter topping and the marshmallow topping. Like Southern
Mm,
Living does one where it's like striped. We do that too.
wow. Cranberry sauce, homemade or canned?
A little, kind of both. We've almost always had a little bit of both at every meal because some people prefer the canned and some people prefer it homemade. And so we've always had a little bit of both, but I like them both.
Green bean casserole, yes or no?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. All right. So my answers are going to be very similar to yours.
Okay.
All right.
What about, there's one more we missed.
Is it the green bean casserole with the French onion things on the top? Okay. And
Mhm.
what did you ask me?
We have one question that we skipped.
Oh, the most important one. What's your favorite pie?
Are you ready?
Yes. Is it going to be normal?
Yeah, it's normal,
Okay.
but you may not like the way I say it.
Oh, yeah. This is okay.
Okay.
We need listener help on this. Go ahead and say it.
Okay. Pecan pie.
Oh my gosh, no. There's no such thing as pecan. I don't know where you're
So
from.
it's a combo of the two ways that are most common of saying the word
Just
pecan or pecan. I don't say pecan ever, but I will say pecan. I do say pecan a lot. But when I refer to pie or orchards, because I grew up in a pecan orchard, I combine the two. So I say pea like you say in pecan, but I say con like you say in pecan. So I say pecan.
all right, so there's 3 different ways you could say it, and we want to know from our listeners, how do you say it?
Yeah.
And I'm not judging anybody. I have my own personal judgment going. It's pecan,
Mm-hmm.
or the alternatives could be pecan or
Or pecan.
pecan.
That's Southwest Georgia girl right
I
there.
think
Pecan.
if you live in the Midwest or northern parts, I think you say pecan.
Mm-hmm.
How Brittany and I got on this conversation is that I like to watch QVC, which is a
Mm-hmm.
shopping network, and a lot of times I'll just have it on in the background just because I've been watching it for years, and I know some of these hosts for like 20 years, and it's just like having noise in the background.
Yeah.
But they had a lady on there that was that I think worked for a candy company that I think was in Alabama,
Maybe Georgia.
Georgia, something, and it was pecan clusters. And the woman kept saying pecan to the point where I was almost going to turn it off because it was just bothering me. And I Googled the pronunciation of pecan, and it said if you live in the Northwest or in eastern parts of the United States, that it's a regional pronunciation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I asked, and then I texted you
Mm-hmm.
and said, "How do you pronounce pecan?" And you said, "It depends." And so anyway, I'm curious to know because I say pecan. I've always said pecan.
Yeah. I never say pecan. Can is never part of what I say, how I
But
say
you
it.
would say pecan.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Okay. I still love you, but you're saying it wrong.
That's my Southwest Georgia way of saying pecan orchard.
So people, I want to know, how do you pronounce it?
Hmm. But I will say pecan pie. I will say pecan cluster. I don't know. I will say pecan. But I say, when I refer to where I grew up, my house was built in a pecan orchard.
Okay. And how do you like your pecan pie? Do you like whole pecans or chopped?
Chopped.
Yeah, me too. I don't like to eat pecan pie when the pecans are whole.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
Hmm.
Okay.
They're big when
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just too
All
much.
right.
It's too overpowering.
Okay. Are you ready for the questions?
Yes.
Turkey, roast, fried, or skip it?
Definitely turkey has to be on the table. And growing up, we always had a roast turkey.
Mhm.
I think my mother would just do a butterball.
Mhm.
Mr. Twist is a little bit more particular about his turkey. He likes to get fresh turkeys that are not
Mhm.
already brined, so he can do his
Mhm.
own brine. And we've had, since we've been married, I think we've had it different every year. We've had it roasted, we've had it smoked, and then this year he's going to do a air fryer.
Mhm.
Uh, Instead of using it frying with oil, he's going to air fry it. He got it. It's pretty big. I mean, it's like it looks like an oil fryer, but it's, and he has it outside. It's with propane, so it's safe. And he's read the owner's manual, and we've done a dry run with a couple of chickens. So I
Okay.
definitely turkey has to have a presence at the table.
Yeah, we don't like our food doesn't go on the table because there's too much food to put on the table. So at Granny's house growing up, she had a big counter bar with her stovetop on it, and the food was just covering.
Same. We do that too.
Mhm.
I don't know that very many people do the Norman Rockwell
Mhm.
the turkey to the dad or
Yeah.
the patriarch in the family, and they're carving it for the first time.
Yeah.
No, because the carving has already been done. It's
Mhm.
resting on the counter, covered in foil,
Yep.
and all the sides are lining the counters in the kitchen. Pies
Exactly.
in one section,
Mhm.
and then you do the we always do it where we start with the salad part of it and then sides, and then the turkey is your final destination.
Yeah. Dressings are always our final destination.
Ugh, I love cornbread dressing.
It's
Gives
the
me
best.
life. And I would borrow yours, but yours is a pinch of that and a pinch of that. So that's not going to
I'll
help
have
me.
to when we actually I'm sure one episode we'll talk more about Thanksgiving dressing. I'll bring my notes from when I learned to make it with my granny and your
Okay.
so all right, mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes?
I usually have both,
Mhm.
but I will say that most people are not, there's more mashed potatoes left
Mm.
because I do sweet potato casserole, which was my mother's recipe. And it's almost kind of like a praline topping, which you mentioned earlier. It's pecans, it's brown
See, and I said
sugar.
pecans when I said the topping.
You said it correctly. And it's almost like a dessert in of
It's a
itself.
dessert.
And
And
I
I
make
almost always go back and get more. That's part of the dessert.
absolutely, because you have to have the right proportion of meat
Mhm.
to your sides. And if you've got more meat left on your plate, you have to go back and supplement.
Mhm.
And usually I'm supplementing. So I always triple the recipe for the sweet potato casserole because, you have to have leftovers
Yeah.
the next day and in that night, depending on what
Mhm.
time you eat.
Mhm. All right, cranberry sauce, homemade or canned?
My sister makes a really good cranberry jello salad.
Mm.
Um, I like it, but I always have my niece, her daughter, bring 2 cans of canned
Mhm.
cranberry sauce. One that's got the fruit in it,
Mhm.
and
And
then
one's
the other
jelly.
one that's just the jelly. Because it's not Thanksgiving until you hear that cranberry sauce come out of the can. Yes, it's like a bloop, 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 it's wiggly and it's got the marks on it. I think that I don't know that it's Ray Dunn that makes it, but there's a brand that's kinda like that, it's white all white dishes, so it may be Ray Dunn, and it's a cranberry vessel for cranberry sauce, and it's made specifically for the cranberry sauce that has the ridges on it. So I'm thinking that the tray has the ridges, and you're just supposed to bloop, 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 bloop,
I think
bloop.
it might be Ray Dunn.
Yeah, so cute.
Sorry. Okay. Green bean casserole, yes or no? No?
No. I mean, My family loves it, and Phoebe makes it every year. Well,
Mhm.
Peggy used to make it, because Peggy joins us for Thanksgiving. Peggy made it for the last couple of years, but I asked Phoebe this year what she wanted to help make, and is making her macaroni and cheese, which Amelia talked about.
Amelia talked
Thought was
about.
so cute. And she said she would make the green bean casserole. So somewhere along the line, we started making that, and I just am not a fan. I don't, green beans are not my most favorite vegetable. I will eat them if they're like a roasted green bean, maybe with like Parmesan cheese on or
Yeah.
something. But to just be like, ooh, I want a big bowl of green beans.
Thinking back, we didn't really have it in our traditional Thanksgiving meal, but it's just kinda creeped in.
Yeah. And there's a story behind it, and I think I might have it on my blog back from many years ago. That I think the woman that came up with it was maybe working for the soup company like Lipton or something, and they
Mhm.
tasked her to try to come up with a quintessential soup. Like when you think of green bean casserole, you think of Lipton's cream of mushroom soup and then the French onions on the top.
Mhm.
So there's some history of that, but I'll eat maybe a spoonful of it,
Yeah,
but it's not mine. It's not my favorite.
I gotcha. Okay, last question. What is your favorite pie?
My favorite pie would probably be pumpkin.
Mhm.
I have a really good New York Times recipe for um, pecan pie.
Mhm.
But then my second favorite non-traditional, I like it with whipped cream.
Me too.
My second favorite non-traditional would be chocolate cream pie.
I like chocolate cream pie too.
My bestie Julie makes a really good pecan chocolate pie.
Mm.
It's really good, and Mr. Twist likes that. Sometimes, depending on my energy level, I'll make our pies. But we have
Mhm.
a really good pie gal in town. It's Sweet Lucy's Pies, and I have bought things from her for so many occasions over the years that sometimes I'll just bite the bullet because her crust is so good.
Mhm.
And I'll
That
have
makes
her
it.
make she makes a bourbon pecan pie. I'll have her make
Mm.
the sometimes she'll do a cranberry buttermilk pie. I love buttermilk pie too.
Yeah, me too.
And then
We always had that too.
she'll make a really good chocolate pie. So it just kind of depends, but definitely it's not Thanksgiving unless I have pumpkin pie.
I gotcha. Well, that was fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I'm hungry again.
Yeah, me too. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on with our next segment called Starting the Tradition, Sentimental Decorating from Scratch.
Mhm.
And we had a a listener who sent us an email and said, what do you do? Can you speak to if we don't have heirlooms?
Mhm.
What can we do? So not everyone starts with boxes of family treasures like you and I have, or generations of china. Sometimes you're the one starting the story, and the one who gets to create the pieces that others will one day want to have in their lives and cherish. So today we're going to talk about how to build a home that feels layered with love and story, even if you're starting from scratch, because heirloom living isn't about what you have. It's about the heart that you put into what you create. So Brittany, I want to really have you weigh in on this because
Okay.
you are like the ultimate story keeper.
Yeah, and I talk about this a lot because, especially when I'm done my like sentimental style starter kit and online, I talk about adopting heirlooms a lot. And I think that you can adopt other people's heirlooms that have ended up in the thrift store and the vintage shops and the antique malls. And that I have several furniture pieces. I have a lot of decor that I call adopted because I just loved it. And even though it's not something that's from my history that I got from somebody or, I just picked it up, there's still a bit of story tied to it because for some reason I'm drawn to it. I love it. It reminds me of something. There's some nostalgia that I feel about it, or I just find it beautiful. And that is, you know, sentimental decor in a nutshell. And if you love it, it fits. We say that a lot. If you love it, it fits your home. You can make it work no matter if it's new or old. So you can start collecting and adopting heirlooms and just collect with intention with whatever, kind of catches your eye, speaks to your heart, gives your heart a little flutter. And if you're like me, that's dishes. Because I have hand-me-down heirloom dishes. I have dishes that I bought myself, lots, and I have dishes that my mom bought for me that they're sentimental. They're not old or any, I mean, they're old now because whatever, but they're not like old traditional patterns like my Southern living at home. But just find something that you like that you can tie your story to. So start small. You can do a single item is what I would suggest, that you could grow that into a collection. Could be brass figurines. It could be vintage Christmas ornaments. It could be a specific type of glassware. A few weeks ago, I shared about my very small collection of orange carnival glass that I pull out during during the fall season, that I started collecting myself, and I only have 4 or 5 pieces, but I lived in India and orange is such a prominent color there. And when I got back from India, I was still drawn to that color, even though it's not one that I would typically pick. And I just picked up a piece, and then my mom saw how much I liked it, and she added a piece to it. And now I have, 5 or 6 pieces, 4 or 5 pieces that I pull out during the fall season. So, sentimental mementos from your life can be decor. We talk about photos. We talk about, I don't know, little trophies that you might have gotten, or that a family member has gotten. Trip mementos. You can add all of those things into your decor, and they can become part of your sentimental styling, and you can create collections from that. And I would just say always choose, instead of trying to make it all match to something that you have, look for pieces that make you feel joy or nostalgia or just plain happy, and don't worry about it matching with what you have, because I love an eclectic mix of layered things that don't necessarily look like they're supposed to go together. I feel like that's what creates a layered, story-filled home, is that even though at first you're like, this doesn't go together, it does, because it all falls into your story, and you can edit and style it in ways where it looks intentional, And then I would say document those things that you feel are heirloom worthy for you to remember the stories. But if there are people in your family that might want those things when you're gone, they'll know why you loved it, where it came from, what it means to you, and why it's important to you. And so you can put that information in a file if it's an item that you can write it on, like the back of a cross stitch that you picked up in an antique mall on a girl's trip, or even if it's new things that catch your eye and you want it to be heirloom worthy and shared for future generations, write information about how you acquired it, where it came from on it. And that's one of the things we do in the Sentimental Style Starter Kit, which is available through the end of November, but not after that, because it will be a part of a new project that I'm working on, wink, wink, that I'll share more about soon. But we write story cards for the items that we are connected to, and they don't have to be heirlooms or hand-me-downs. They can be the things that you deem heirloom worthy for yourself. And so just record those stories is what I would encourage you to do. So I'm not talking about just collecting things. You're collecting stories that will one day be told through your home as you collect. So
Absolutely. I would like to add to your documentation is that one of the things my mother did, which I need to start doing, is that she would take masking tape and put it on the back or the bottom of something. And she would talk about where it came from. There's a set of plates I have hanging in my little keeping room that on the piece of paper it's downstairs, and so I'm going to misquote the year, but I want to say it said 1908 Aunt Vi's wedding china or something. So if she hadn't, and it's on a piece of paper that is aged, so it's brown, but it's in my mother's handwriting. And if she hadn't done that, I wouldn't have known the significance of those dishes. So I really think, and I say this is because you and I have both lost our mothers, is that when we do come across things, if we don't know where it came from, your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren or whoever's going to be important to you, nieces, nephews, are not going to know where these things came from unless you record their legacy. So, because, you're not just collecting things, you're curating stories that one day be told through your home. So for me, You can do DIY sentiment, crafting your own keepsakes,
Mhm.
framing those recipes in your own handwriting.
Mhm.
Repurpose fabric from clothing or aprons or curtains into pillows or napkins. Didn't you do something like that?
Yeah, my mom was not notorious, I guess, but famous for her Christmas pajamas, and so I took the basket of her Christmas pajamas and had teddy bears made out of them for any of her grandchildren that would be born. So I had 4 made to start with, but now there are 3, and I wanted 2 for the twin beds in my bedroom that I pull out at Christmas, and so I've had 5 made overall out of her Christmas pajamas, so
That's
yeah.
so sweet. So sweet. And we've talked about creating memory jars or boxes. I talked about in one of the episodes how I did that for Phoebe with some of her childhood photos
Mhm.
with a handwritten note about what that photo was about and how I was feeling about as being her mom at that time in her life. So those are things that you can add. Start a home journal where you write down the story favorite pieces as you add them. You
Mhm.
mentioned that. I mean, it's just, I think our message here ties kind of back to when we interviewed Kate
Mhm.
about having something that's tangible. And first of all, don't assume that you'll have that conversation. I cannot tell you how many times I regret not making the time to stop and ask my mom,
Mhm.
where did this come from? How did this tradition get started? How did you meet this person? How are they important to your life? How is this piece important in our family? Because you think you're always going to have time, and we're never guaranteed 30 minutes from now.
Yeah.
Um, and how important handwriting is.
Mhm.
And it's not the beauty of your handwriting, it's that it's yours. I have a card that I've kept for years just because the front of it was so funny, and it's about Marie Antoinette, and about eating cake, and it's I can't even tell you what it says on the front, but whatever it was so funny that I never got rid of it. It was a birthday
Mhm.
card from years ago, and it was given to me by my friend Christy, who passed away on September 11th of this year from her 4-year battle, almost 4-year battle of colon cancer. Who would have ever thought that now she's not here and how
Mhm.
much more important? It's not so much that the sentiment was funny, it's that it's her handwriting.
Yeah.
I have her handwriting in my breakfast casserole that I
Mhm.
make every year for Christmas morning. I want to kind of give y'all a line of not all heirlooms come from attics. Some come from your kitchen table, your craft door, or even your imagination.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. So, we have a little challenge for y'all to think about this in a different way, perhaps, but look around your home this week and find one piece that you love, even if it's brand new, and give it a story or write the story down that goes with it. Write a note, take a photo, or just decide that this is where your heirloom story begins and start recording that, whether it's in a notebook or on a piece of paper that you attach to it or masking tape that you just tape to the bottom of it. Give it a little bit of meaning behind why it's in your home. And that is the very beginning. So email us with what you've come up with and tell us your heirloom item that you are excited to pass down or at least record the story of. So,
But I also want to say, when it comes to taping things, if there's a piece that's really important to you, after you're gone, nobody's going to know how important it was to you. It's going to end up going to Goodwill. If there's somebody in your life that you want to have that item, put their name on it.
mhm.
After my mother was gone, I found a lot of things where she had designated as my sister-in-law to get or someone else to get. It could be you have a best friend like your friend Anna. You have hers want some things. And if you don't tell us what you want, if you don't tell the people in your life that are going to be taking care of your estate after you're gone, they won't know. Maybe it's in a journal that you write it, or maybe it's something as, stick a piece of masking tape on the back of
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
anyway, there
And
we
if
go.
it ends up the Goodwill, I'll probably adopt it.
Yeah, I mean that's really how you start those traditions, is finding
Mhm.
them at Goodwill, finding them at
Mhm.
estate sales.
Yep.
I mean, that recipe box that I have that belonged to Miss Martha, I'm gonna probably
Mhm.
put a note in that and say, "These are not my recipes. This came from a lady that I just think probably was a great entertainer and hostess, and, do what you will with them," you know? So, anyway, there we go.
All
All right,
right.
so now we're gonna move on to Bless It We Had to Share It, where we
Bless
share
it.
things that we are loving right now. So, Brittany?
Yeah. Okay, so I am digging brown transferware right now. And
Okay.
I always have loved it, but for some reason, maybe it's just the fall or whatever, and I've seen a couple of James Farmer, styled photos that has brown transferware, and it's really kind of hard to find vintage. And right now it's popular, so vintage is going to be expensive. So I'll never stop looking for it, but I decided I would get my fix from Wayfair. And so I got from Wayfair, they carry Spode, and this is Spode Delamere, I think would be how you
So will
say it.
you layer that with your Friendly Village?
And so I'm excited because this is the first episode of November. And so every Tuesday in November, I am doing a Thanksgiving tablescape on my Instagram. And I needed this brown Delamere transferware from
It's
Spode
really
to
pretty.
do that. And so it's just a set of 4 dinner plates that I got. So I'm going to start small. But they were in a Thanksgiving tablescape that I shared on Tuesday. And I'm going to do that Thanksgiving tablescape inspo every Tuesday of November. And so that's my blessed. Brown transferware is my favorite, and this was my cheat way to get it quickly without having to scour the internet and pay vintage prices right now.
Yeah, I mean, and you could put so many things on that.
Hmm.
Different colors, your orange glass, carnival glass would look really good with that.
Yes, I'm excited. So,
And your, everyday that was your grandmother's, right? That
hmm.
brown? Yeah, that's beautiful.
So I
They
just
had a
love it.
set of 4 of those at TJ Maxx,
Yeah, they may have them there. Hmm.
and they had geese on them, or turkeys maybe?
Well, that's the Spode Woodland.
Okay.
The Woodland has Woodland has all these different wildlife. So there's the Woodland that's like the birds, like quail, pheasant, turkey, probably more. And then there's the Woodland that has the spaniels on it, dogs. And so I love Spode Woodland. That was actually my brother and sister-in-law's wedding china. So
Oh, well, speaking of China, what I'm gonna be doing for my Thanksgiving tablescape, or I think I'm gonna do it for my Friendsgiving, is that set of Autumn, Lenox
yeah.
Autumn,
Favorite.
that,
Okay.
my friend Catherine and I split. We went to an
Huh?
estate sale and we're first in second. We were like, we weren't first in line. We were kind of mad because we got there and then we got there before the address. Well, the dress had just been released. We were
Published.
pretty sure what neighborhood it was in, so we were kind of circling like
Hmm.
vultures. There were already people in line
How'd
before
they
the
know?
release. I know. Very suspect. So we were
Mm.
like maybe fourth in line. We whenever we want something, we just make a beeline for where we study the pictures before we go,
Hmm.
where we think it's going to be in the house, and we went straight and laid ourselves on top of it. And yes, this is mine. If you come near us, we'll cut you. And we bought a set of 12. We only bought the dishes and the cups and saucers and the salad and bread and butter. We didn't buy like any of the extra
Serving.
pieces because
Hmm.
we just don't need that. And we were already like, our husbands are going to kill us because we have so many dishes. But she has 6, a set of 6, and I
I'm a
have a set of
husband.
6. And it's understood that if we ever need, we ever need more than 6, that we will gladly
Share.
share.
Perfect. So tell us your blessed. We had to share it.
My bless that we had to share it is I shared it on my Instagram stories, a few weeks ago.
Oh, you've been wanting one. You
A hot
got
pink
it.
phone, my pink phone.
Pink rotary.
So I have been wanting a pink rotary dial. Rotary is very important because this was the era that I grew up,
Is
was
that a rose
rotary.
in the middle?
It's a rose.
I love that.
Yeah, that pretty?
That is beautiful.
And so especially at the earlier seasons of our episodes, I talked about the pink rotary dial, and I shared a funny story about how when I was growing up, my mother talked on the phone non I think the minute I walked out to the bus, she was on the phone. And it was mostly like exchanging recipes, just, your usual stuff that girls talk about on the phone. When I got to be the phone age, this was long before cell phones, I wanted to use the phone to talk to my own friends. And she did not
Hmm.
like, I'd be chatting and then she'd pick the receiver up in another part of the house
And
and
so
I
you
would
don't.
be on the phone. So she finally said, "I'm getting your own phone so that I can talk on my phone whenever I want to." So I got all excited thinking I was going to get a pink or an aqua phone. Nope, my mom said, "Look, I'm buying you a new phone line. You can get almond or white."
Sad.
It was sad. So ever since then, I've longed for a pink phone. So my bestie Julie sent this to me for my birthday.
She found it. That's so beautiful. I love it.
No. And I joked on my stories about how it would take a week to dial someone's phone number,
Mhm.
especially because my phone number growing up was 817
Mhm.
534.
Just the sound makes me happy.
Has it been a week already since I started? And then I won't tell you what the last 4 digits were because that person may have this phone number. Okay.
Mhm.
So, anyway, I have it here in my ladies' lounge, and I'm looking forward to using this as a prop for some of my upcoming reels.
I love it.
But that is and my mom was the queen of hanging up.
Mm.
Like if she was mad, she never hung up on our friends, I don't think. It was her kids. If she ever did not like what we said, I'm not gonna do it because I don't wanna ruin. And there's a bell inside because it
Huh?
had to
Just
ring.
mhm.
Man, you would just get and my
Yeah.
sister said, "That's so funny, she never hung up on me." And I said, "Well,
Well,
that's because I was a little bit more difficult." My sister
you
was
know.
my sister was very easygoing,
Mhm.
did not like confrontation. So whatever my mother said, if my sister didn't like it, she just would seethe on the inside. But I was the opposite. I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." And mm,
Yeah, I think my mom popped me in the mouth when I was 28 years old for back talking one time, so, you know. Um, but you know what? I'm very excited, and because I work in education with young kids, I'm seeing this trend with parents that, they're seeing the dangers of smartphones and cell phones more, especially at younger ages, and there's, like, new companies starting that are internet landlines, basically, and so families are getting landline agains, but they run on the internet usually instead of just being a number, and that's how kids are starting to communicate more. And so that's a great Christmas gift idea. If you have kids wanting a phone, go Google like landlines.
what's happening at your house right now?
My dog is rooting into his pillow to to snuggle up in, so he's scratching.
I swear if Brady's not coughing, he's making himself at home. I'm like, "Is someone breaking into your home?"
Brady is the man of the house, so he's everywhere all the time.
Y'all have to listen to the episode before this. He was coughing, and I swear I was like, "Brittany, did your boyfriend spend the night last night? Because is there like a 200-pound man coughing in the kitchen?" And she's like,
Oh,
"No, that's Brady, my dog." It sounded
he's a
like,
real old geriatric doggy, so but anyway, so
I'm sorry,
get
I
your
didn't mean
child
to
a
interrupt
landline
you.
for
Yeah.
Christmas and then, keep them away from smartphones for as long as you possibly can, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I
So
think
from someone who
Phoebe
works in education, please and thank you.
I wanna say Phoebe was 15 before we let her have a phone,
Good.
14 or 15, and I just kept telling her, "For one thing, you're either at school or you're at home, and everybody has phones. There are landlines at the school. If you're done early with tennis, you can use the coach's phone." So, I held out for as long as I possibly could, and she didn't start driving until she was 18. So, I think 15, we finally just said, "Okay, we'll get her a phone,"
Mhm.
but anyway. Okay, so I guess it's time
Yeah.
for us to close the show, and you get to do the sentiment
Yes.
for this week.
Yes. So this is our closing segment called A Toast to Sentiment. And it's where we share a sentimental story or a quote and we end with a toast to sentiment. And mine is a little emotional, and I'm going to try not to get super emotional, but the days are getting shorter. And I find myself a lot lighting candles in the evening, which I've always do, no matter what time of the year. But this year, it's just there's something about it, and it transforms this time of year because I feel like it's more about remembrance, not just for the glow. Because you think about the holidays and Advent, you're lighting candles through Advent, and just all the seasonal things. You're remembering people, and I'm getting a little because I'm nervous, I guess, about sharing, but not really. But um, it's kind of a way of saying the light of those people still lives here, for me. And this week marks 8 years since my mother went to heaven and left her earthly body, November 2nd. And she was, the kind of woman that made everything a celebration. She knew how to make a home shine. And so it's kind of like when I strike a match now during, especially this time of year, remembering her and for the holidays, it's not just bringing that glow to the room, but it's maybe borrowing a little bit of her light and carrying it forward. And so one of my favorite Edith Wharton quotes is about light, and it says there are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. And so I love that. And some days we're the candle, steady and sure. And that's me most of the days. I'm the candle. But other days, I just need to absorb the glow of someone else and reflect it. And, this time of year can be hard for us if we've lost people, especially if you've lost them in this holiday season. So maybe you're thinking of someone too, as I'm talking about this, and that person, love lingers in your life still, but they're not physically present with you anymore, but they're still in your home. They're still in your heart. And even during this season, you can honor them and light a candle for them in remembrance and, be the one that shares the light as well when you have that strength to be the light and carry the light forward. But know that there are going to be times when you need to just reflect the glow of others and just give yourself patience. So if you're listening today, think about who your light is and name them and remember them and, keep their glow going forward in a
Love
way that makes
that.
sense for you.
I
So
love
cheers.
that. Cheers. Cheers. My glass is not as pretty as yours.
Oh,
I love that, and I wish that I was thinking about your mom the other day, and I was trying to think of what it was that I thought, I bet her mom and I would have been really good friends.
for sure.
And I'm trying to think of what it was that made me think of Dawn. But I know she is so proud of you. What a
I
beautiful woman you are, and how you are lighting up everyone's homes and lives with all the content you share, and
do.
that it's from everything that she taught you.
Mm-hmm. And the things that I've learned not only from her, but through her and experiencing the loss of her. Um, I feel like that's sort of my purpose is to, in this Instagram, yes, sharing my home in sentimental style, but giving people the courage and the space to think, okay, I've experienced that too, and it's okay, and I'll get through this, and here's a way I can move forward through it or find joy in it. And, we all experience some transition and loss and change. And I feel like home is an anchor for those times. And
Absolutely.
I think you said it too, just about it being our haven and respite. I think that was the word you used. And so that's sort of my purpose in sharing my content, not just to share the pretty and the fun things, but to give people the encouragement um, to find joy and meaning and peace and healing in their homes, whether that's through decor or not. But home is our place, and that's how I've learned through living through. Before my mom passed away, I was always on the go. But after, and it may be age too, but after, bringing her life into my home in a way, I feel much more anchored here and much more content with life as it is and not trying to chase after the next relationship or the next job or the next thing. And finding home as my source of joy and comfort and contentment and peace. And of course, my relationship with the Lord. But, I've learned so much from her. I learned so much from having her and having her as a best friend and a mom, but also I learned so much from losing her. And hopefully I can encourage people who are experiencing similar things. So,
Yeah, same with me. I think loss is a terrible thing,
mhm.
but it teaches you so much about resilience, and it's just such a life lesson. And um, after my mom passed away, I stopped writing and blogging for a year, because she was really why I started Home with a Twist, because I wanted to chronicle what it was like to be a caregiver. And it evolved into other things. But then after she died, I thought, what? I need to figure out what my purpose is going forward. What am I writing about? and I decided that I wanted to start a blog that was in memory of all the things that she has shared with me over the years. And not necessarily just about decorating or entertaining, but making people feel special and heard.
Mhm.
In fact, the other day, just last night when Amelia was here, spending the night, we were watching Freaky Friday. Not the original one, but the one that had Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis in it. The
Mhm.
one that was, I think, in like, I don't know, 2000 or
Early
something.
2000s.
And the mom said, make good choices as the daughter was leaving to go to school. And Doug said to Amelia, did your mom ever say that? And she says, no, I don't think so. And I said, well, I used to say that to Phoebe every time she would leave the house because my mom would say that.
Mhm.
My mom would say, make good choices. And she would always say, smile at someone today because yours may be the only smile that they'll get.
Mm.
And I remember saying that to her. So that's why I started Home with a Twist, is I wanted to be able to share everything my mother taught me growing up, from relationships to making people feel special to, heirlooms. So,
Mhm.
um,
Right.
it's sad that we have to lose our moms or lose someone important to us to appreciate that, but that's just how life and wisdom and aging is. It's not something that comes to you when you're doesn't matter what age, because you're 20 years younger than me and you've lost your mom and you know what that's, but you can't understand those emotions and the power that that gives you as a woman until you have lost someone. So, I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. Proud of you. Well,
Ok
y'all,
I
on
guess
that
it's
note,
yeah, okay, all right.
thank you.
That's all for today's episode of the Sentimental Twist. We
Yeah.
encourage you to follow us on our Home with a Twist on Instagram, homewithatwist.com, and Home with a Twist on YouTube. Brittany.
At Brittany Shepherd, no, not BrittanyShepherd.com. I do have a website, BrittanyShepherd.com. It's for my writing, but thesentimentaldecorator.com and Brittany Shepherd TSD on YouTube.
And then don't forget to email us at the Sentimental
Mhm.
Twist podcast at gmail.com. And we want to hear your sentimental style or heirloom recipe hospitality story this week. Brittany gave you a challenge. And also, we love to get recipes. We love to get ideas, just anything that really resonated with you during this episode.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us on the Sentimental Twist.
Where we believe every space tells a story.
And every story deserves a place at the table. Until next time.
Keep things cozy, collected, and a little bit sentimental.
Bye,
Bye, y'all.
everybody.
See you next week.